I need to start this video off by saying I am literally one of the biggest Halo fans of all time. The whole reason I love video games is because of Halo. This was the game that got me into this entire niche. It really is a special IP. There's a lot of greatness and there's a lot of garbage, but when you look at the Halo name, there's a lot of fond memories and just overall greatness. That's why it pains me to say this. It really does pain me to say this, but we need to let it go. We need to let Halo ride off into the sunset officially. And I don't think that there's any way you could potentially save this IP or bring it back in any way, shape, or form. I feel like this is an important video to make talking about this because, Halo is sort of making a comeback, at least like Xbox wants it to make a comeback, and they are really pushing remasters. We just had the Campaign Evolved, which I definitely have thoughts on later in this video. We had Campaign Evolved, they're rebranding 343 into like Halo Studios, and now there's talks that Activision might pick up Halo. We're going to talk about all of that in this video. So look, we all know the masterminds behind the Halo name. It's Bungie. And, Bungie's not in the best situation. They got their own stuff going on. There's a lot of people out there talking about how, Bungie might potentially step back into the Halo name. Guys, that's not happening. That's not happening. But, Bungie is the one who made this great. And, I mean, it's not crazy to say that the decline in quality started to happen when Bungie left the Halo franchise and 343 took over. I won't go too in depth on, how 343 completely fumbled with the IP. And I will say there's a few decent things that they have done, but everything they've done has been decent at best. They haven't really produced an amazing Halo title. And I think we're way beyond the point where you could say, oh, well, they're just getting familiar with the projects and they're getting familiar with the games. I still see people defend them with that. And it's they have been doing this for 10 plus years. They have made a ton of Halo installments in the franchise. And like I said, most of them are decent at best, if not terrible. So, they've been doing that for years and years and years, releasing Halo games that are mediocre at best. And eventually we get to the point where we're at now, where they release Campaign Evolved. Man, Campaign Evolved, actually just sucked all the wind out of my sails for the hope I had for the Halo franchise. Is Campaign Evolved a terrible video game? Honestly, no. But what's so funny to me is, how can you make a remake of a game with better technology, better tools, more funding, whatever? How can you take a game that is almost 20 years old? It actually is 20 years old, 20 plus years old, 25 years old. Dang, bro. How can you take a 25-year-old game and make a worse remake? How, dude? How? It hurts my head. I don't understand. When we were learning about this project, I wouldn't say I was necessarily excited. I was interested, I was like, okay, they're going to add this and that. It's going to be an Unreal Engine. Cool, let's see what they do. And, I'd be lying if I said that I didn't have fun while playing this game. It was fun to play the campaign of Halo 1 on PlayStation and earn a platinum trophy for it. That was really fun. There's a few things here to actually like. There's moments where I'm having fun. But when you compare it to the original Halo game is better in every regard. It still holds up to this day. And I just think it's funny that 343, they have the secret formula right there. They literally pretty much just had to copy and paste Halo 1 into Unreal Engine 5 and add multiplayer, which I don't understand why they didn't add multiplayer. They literally could have just copy and pasted those things, and this would have been a slam dunk. But instead, they're like, what if we reimagine the Halo 1 experience and we throw in prequel missions and this and that, and we divert some story things, and what are we it just makes no sense, man. It makes no sense. You literally have the keys in an era right now where remakes and remasters are really popular and a lot of them are actually well received and they do sell well. You have the keys to success to literally just copy and paste some freaking files, dude, or what. I don't know anything about the development of this. Maybe it was a little bit harder. The fact of the matter is you have the template right there. All you have to do is put it into a better system untouched. And then what do they start messing with things, man. They start messing with things for literally no reason. It's free money, guys. It's free money on the table. You want to revitalize this franchise? All you had to do was just not change anything from the original and give people some freaking multiplayer to chew on. That's literally all you had to do. I'm sorry, like, it seriously cannot be that complicated, and somehow they overcomplicated it and made it really worse. Like, it's objectively a worse experience than Halo Combat Evolved. The prequel missions are the biggest eyesore here for Campaign Evolved. Dude, these suck. These are miserable. I personally, like, when I heard that they were going to do prequel missions, I was kind of interested. I was like, okay, we might see Sergeant Johnson and Master Chief on some adventure that could be interesting to see. That's something I always wondered about when I was really invested in the Halo franchise was, Master Chief's backstory. So I was excited to learn more of that. These missions are awful. They're so bad. They're unbelievably bad. From the cutscenes, the cutscenes across this entire game are absolutely abysmal. Like, they're actually unwatchable. But the prequel ones especially are just they're so bad. They're so bad. Like, it actually, like, infuriated me. Like, they're unwatchable. They're terrible. And then, like, the mission design of these missions is awful. Like, I personally, like, I played through the campaign first, and then I went to the prequel missions, and you can just see Halo Studios or 343 Industries, whatever you want to call it. You can see their level design on display, and it's like a direct comparison of Bungie versus 343 here, because all 343 did was take Bungie's missions from the first game. So you can kind of hold a candle to both of these and see the differences in game design and how 343 is just inferior to Bungie. That's literally it. And listen, I'm usually fairly optimistic about, video games and potential projects to come forward. But listen, and I know there's some people that are optimistic about the Halo franchise. I just want to put it like this. If we're going to bring back this initiative to bring back Halo, and, a lot of people are using the defense of like, well, this was supposed to be a tech demo for the new Halos to come and, the new games that they're going to release. They're going to use Unreal Engine 5. So this was essentially like a tech demo to test the waters, see how things are going to run. Definitely feels like that. But if we're going to put our trust into Halo Studios to reboot or do whatever they're going to do with Halo and bring it back, the fact that they can't execute the simplest of projects, this should have been a home run, slam dunk, easy. Like, you could literally put this out in your sleep and have it be successful. And they somehow botched it. They somehow messed it up in some way, shape, or form. This is the simplest of tasks for them to do to bring back Halo. The simplest. Like, literally, everything moving forward is going to be a lot harder for them to recapture a lot of Halo fans and gain new interest from people. This is the simplest task. And they failed. They failed it, man. They failed it. So that alone does not have me confident at all. And the fact that they included prequel missions into the first game has me thinking that they're planning on doing a prequel trilogy or something, like some sort of prequel game to Halo. And that's like what their next big project is going to be. And listen, that has potential. That actually sounds cool. Like, if we got like a Master Chief prequel or something, that'd be awesome. Or like a prequel maybe spanning like before Reach could be cool. Something like that. That could be awesome if we got to learn more about the events leading up to the main trilogy. I'd be down for that. But the way that 343 or Halo Studios, once again, however you want to say it, the way they handled the remake of Halo Combat Evolved is abysmal. And the fact that the prequel missions are the worst part about that does not have me confident if that's the direction they're going in. Some negative buzz around 343 and Halo Studios, which now leads us to my second talking point, where Activision might potentially be getting involved with the Halo IP. And now there's people that's like, oh my gosh, we might be saved, guys. Activision's gonna save us. Are you serious, man? You can't be serious. Activision, yo, bro, that's the last person who I want stepping in right now at this moment with the Halo IP. And if that's the plans moving forward, let's just call it quits here, man. Activision is absolutely the last person you want to touch this intellectual property, dude. Literally the last person on planet freaking Earth. It's just funny that now a lot of fans are looking at this news and they think that this is good because Activision in recent years has done nothing but run Call of Duty into the ground and like run other intellectual properties into the ground. That's their track record at the moment. Who knows? Maybe they're cooking up something special. I doubt it. I doubt it. History is probably going to repeat itself and they're going to run another IP in the ground. And Halo has been run into the ground and then some. Oh my goodness, man. It's so bad. And listen, I know that there's going to be people in the comments of this video talking about, well, there's a lot of IP potential here. You know, there's a lot of potential with the universe and like spin-off games and stuff. And you're absolutely right. There's a ton of potential with spin-off games. And yet they do nothing with it. All they want to do is follow Master Chief and put him on the cover of every game and continue to milk whatever's left there. I'm not sure there's anything left, but somehow there is. Somehow they see potential in it. I don't know. But that's kind of the most tragic thing here is there's been so much potential with the Halo IP for years and years and years. You probably could have expanded Halo into something like Warhammer with the vast amount of lore and timelines and characters and stuff and different factions. Like you could do so much with that. But I just don't think they have what it takes to do that because that would require them to be creative. And all 343 and Halo does is reuse Bungie's ideas. And whenever they try to do something themselves, it sucks. And it's just generally not good. That's why I think, you know, if I'm Xbox, and more importantly, if I'm Asha Sharma, I'm looking at this and I'm like, hey, let's just end life support now. You know, they're working on Elder Scrolls 6. We might see that eventually. Dude, gear resources towards something else. Don't waste time and money on another Halo project. Halo Infinite already happened, man. It already happened. Just end it now. If you continue to go down this road and trying to make Halo a thing that's popular again when clearly you can't do it, just end it, man. And I'm not saying that Halo is not capable of hitting the mainstream again and recapturing interest from gamers, because it absolutely is. It's a massive intellectual property. I just think that the entire team behind New Halo is creatively bankrupt. That's abundantly clear, especially with what we've seen with Campaign Evolved. Like I said, it was the most simple project, the most simple assignment, the most easy layup of all time, and they blew it somehow. That's where I'm just like, yo, just has to end. This just has to end. Not that Halo is a bad IP, not that it's not capable of being an absolute juggernaut again, but the current staff and leadership and team behind it is just not capable of making anything happen. That's the fact of the matter. And to bring some nuance to the point I just made, it is hard to come into an IP that is not yours, you didn't invent it, you weren't the original creator, and try to fill the shoes of something legendary. This case, obviously, 343 stepping into the shoes that Bungie had at Microsoft. I understand that is difficult, but with Halo in particular, and this is coming from a hardcore fan, is it really that hard? Is it really that hard? When you break down Halo, you could just expand on what Bungie has already done. 343 tried to forge their own path, and that always just didn't make sense to me. It's like, when you come into this project, you see that they have an established trilogy that's already finished, but you see that they have a vast universe. Why don't you just expand into another timeline in the lore or something? And that way you kind of distance yourself from their work, but you can still, make something unique and important that fans are going to love and find interesting. Why did they continue to build on Master Chief? That is what ultimately led to them digging their own grave here. That story was already concluded. And we're literally talking about a sci-fi video game franchise. You could like go 2,000 years in the future, 2,000 years in the past. Who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe throw hints and references to Master Chief. That would be great, whatever. It just doesn't seem that hard to me. And when we look at the multiplayer side of things, Halo does not have a complicated PvP system going. You have maps that are fairly simple to recreate and understand why they're legendary maps, and you understand why the PvP feels so good. You know, the TTK is really high, and everyone feels really chunky, which means your aim matters more. Everyone starts off at an even playing field, and you have to go find your weapons, and you throw in fun things like gravity hammers and energy swords as power-ups. That is what makes Halo multiplayer fun, and nowadays that is so bare bones and simple to design in a game. Like, it's really not that complicated. We're not talking about an in-depth RPG with crazy mechanics. We're talking about an FPS franchise that I think shouldn't be too hard to recreate. You know? And there's a lot of people huffing on copium saying that, well, they're gonna do a spin-off story. I'm telling you right now, guys, the projects they have planned for the future are prequel projects. There's no way they're not prequel projects with Master Chief. Why else would they put prequel missions in the Halo Campaign Evolved remake? Why would they do that? They're trying to make it like, oh, like, you know, play Campaign Evolved and get ready for the prequel storyline that we have going on with the new game. Dude, that's going to be a disaster. And I'm calling it now. That's what they're doing. And like I said before, I was originally interested in the idea of having prequel missions and expanding on Master Chief's storyline before the original trilogy. But after seeing the work on display with Campaign Evolved, oh man, dude. Oh man, it's... Yeah, no, let's just stop. Let's just stop. Like, all my faith in that idea, if that's what they're going for, is just out the window. And ultimately, what made Halo really special was Bungie's passion and hard work, and ultimately their own criticism on themselves in how they designed and made their games. They were intense critics on themselves, and they were really passionate and hungry in regards to Halo. And I just don't get that same vibe from the people working on Halo nowadays. Now, I'm sure they're nice people. Nothing really as a knock on them, I guess. But you can just tell they don't care, man. You can tell they literally do not care. They absolutely do not care. And that, whatever, man. It's their job. They probably just do it for a paycheck, but when you're Microsoft leadership and you're deciding on things to invest in, you have to take that into account. You have to look at passion as a factor. That's ultimately like the X factor and what makes video games great and what makes games sell well. That is literally the common denominator, in my opinion, is hunger for success and passion for your project. Those are the things missing here. And I think something that is very important to highlight here too is Gears of War E-Day. The Gears of War franchise is very adjacent to Halo. Gears of War E-Day is the most recent installment that is coming up. And, you know, while the game hasn't come out yet, we don't know if it's actually good. I haven't played it or anything. I have seen the developer showcase and the developers talking about everything they did and everything they had in mind when designing this game. And they seem to have it right. They basically said that they want to take everything that people love about the original trilogy and put it into this title and make it feel more refined and even better with the tools and technology that we have. And this is worth bringing up here because I'm sure a lot of the Gears of War E-Day developers did not work on the first trilogy and they're brand new to the IP. This might be the first Gears of War project that they're working on. But it really does seem like they took the time to understand what people love about the franchise and why it feels so good to play, and, you know, what characters and story beats do people like, and, you know, like that seems to be the route they're going with this game. And if that's the case, it's probably gonna be a really good game. So when we look at Halo, you can see that that's not the case, man. When they do developer showcases, these dudes do not care. They do not care. They don't understand anything about the original Halos, in my opinion. They don't understand what made them great. They just don't care. You can clearly see that. And like I said, with Gears of War E-Day, we don't know how that is going to turn out. It has not come out yet, but I'm really getting the vibe that it's going to be something special in the franchise, and it actually might revive the franchise because they've had a few rough installments recently with their last releases. So maybe this fixes things, and I'm actually optimistic there because I see people who are behind the project that seem to actually care. Maybe they don't care and they're putting on a mask for marketing. I don't know, but with the Halo people, can you guys at least try? Dude, can you try to care about this franchise, please? I digress, okay? When we take everything that I've talked about into account and we look at the current situation that Xbox is in financially, end it. End it. That's coming from one of the most intense Halo fans of all time. I like I said, I love this franchise. I love this IP. Let it go. Let it go. You guys, have beyond eroded all consumer trust, to be completely honest. Just don't even bother. Really, you're just going to waste more time and money, and that is what Xbox needs the least right now. They cannot take another failure, another financial failure. And with the way things are going with Halo, just can it. Literally just clip it, bro. It's over. It is over. And that's unfortunate to say because I love the IP, but it has been on a downward decline for the last decade. It's showing no signs of life. Your team behind it can't even remake one of the most beloved entries in the entire franchise, one of the most classic video games of all time. Like I said, all you have to do is copy some freaking files over into Unreal Engine 5, dude. You can't even do that. You are incapable of doing that. It's seriously just mind-blowing. Anyways, I love Halo. I think it's time to say goodbye, man. It really is just time to say goodbye. I'm not confident that things are going to go well for this franchise. Let's just let it go. Let's just be at peace with the original trilogy we have. We can always revisit those guys. Halo Reach is awesome. ODST is awesome. Halo Wars is even cool. I'd be down to replay that sometimes. But, I think there's enough to chew on and enough to revisit. It just kind of hurts to see more failed entries into this franchise. It just gets to a point where it's we just got to stop. This has got to stop. And I just don't understand. It's your development team behind Campaign Evolved couldn't execute a simple task and deliver on one of the most simple things in the gaming industry nowadays, a remake, and capture people that are interested in this franchise. You couldn't fully capture the existing audience with it. Why are we going to give them more money? And why are we going to get Activision involved in this crap? And, why are we going to invest more resources and time into this? It's clearly not going to work. The writing is all over the wall. Just let it go. Anyways, that's going to do it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to drop a like and a subscribe for topics like this. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.